From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello, welcome to The Pulse. I'm Dominic Daniele.
And I'm Marissa Taché. Welcome back to Campus Sacred Heart. We hope you had a restful Thanksgiving break.
Right before the break, the Sacred Heart football team beat St. Francis, Pennsylvania to become the co-NEC champions. The title goes to both the Pioneers and Duquesne after both teams finished the season with a 5-1 record in conference play. Joe Siegel is here in the studio with more on the team's successful season and standout players.
Thanks, Dom. Sacred Heart is yet again co-NEC champions. This marks the third NEC regular season title in just the last 6 years for the team. However, there will be no postseason for the Pioneers this year, as Duquesne had the tiebreaker advantage by defeating the Pioneers during conference play.
And everybody celebrating a trophy today at Campus Field for the champion Sacred Heart Pioneers here in 2018.
Sacred Heart football looks to be in great hands for the future as freshman running back Julius Chestnut had a breakout year. The first-year running back earned Rookie of the Week 4 times this season, including a spree of weekly awards in 3 consecutive weeks. Chestnut finished the season with 7 touchdowns and 713 yards rushed. Chestnut has also been named one of 20 finalists nationwide for the Stats FCS Jerry Rice Award, which is presented annually to the FCS Freshman of the Year. Chestnut is the only first year from the Northeast Conference up for the Jerry Rice Award and is one of 5 honoraries from the NEC to be up for any of the Stats 4 awards. Another season filled with career highs was senior running back Jordan Meacham. Don't worry though, Meacham will be back next year as he will play during his graduate year. After redshirting during his freshman year, Meacham recorded an impressive 1,400 yards rush and a total of 11 touchdowns, and not to mention earning 2 NEC Offensive Player of the Week awards. There's no better way to end your career than finishing your season as a champion. Kevin Duke in his last eligible year did just that, leading the Pioneers to its first title since 2014. Duke threw for a total of 1,736 yards, playing in 10 games this season. Duke also earned 2 NEC Offensive Player of the Week awards.
Back to you, Marissa.
Jack Sullivan is here in studio with Jordan Meacham for an in-depth look at his record-setting season.
Thanks, Marissa, and welcome, Jordan. Congrats on an impressive season and another NEC championship. It's a great achievement, but was it disappointing to see Duquesne to get to the FCS playoffs instead of you guys?
I mean, it hurts a little bit to feel as though we're NEC champs as well, and losing to them by 4, that hurt a little bit, but we weren't disappointed in seeing them go ahead. We all rooted for them since they came from the same conference and wish them nothing and the best in the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, you guys had a very good season. You guys had a nice hot start, and I knew that Duquesne loss was heart-wrenching for all of us. And I know when everyone was watching the Sacred Heart game, you guys against St. Francis, that we were also rooting for CCSU, which is kind of impossible for us, but we were really rooting for you guys. So you had such an impressive season, Jordan, and what has Sacred Heart football meant to you?
Sacred Heart football has been basically everything. Coming from high school, I mean, we were competitive, but when I got here, the competitive aspect of football just, raised itself to a whole nother level. And it's just been great to be able to just be on the field and play with such good friends that I've made here in my college experience. So it's been good.
Now, senior season, Jordan Meacham, that was a name we heard a lot. What was your highlight of the season?
The very last game, being able to, hold up the NEC trophy, see Coach Nof smiling. It was just a great feeling just to see everybody on the field and just be happy that, we won a championship.
Now, it's funny that you say that because you had a personal achievement and you broke a school record against Bryant. And now that you're such a team player, you say winning as a team was more of an accomplishment. How did it feel, though, breaking the school record for most yards rushed in a game?
It felt really good. Honestly, I didn't even know. I had no idea until after the game. But it was really cool because, again, like in high school, I had never done anything like that. So to be able to do something like that was really cool and just exciting.
It's fantastic. So since I said you were a senior, what is the future for Jordan Meacham?
I have a 5th year, so I'll be back next year for grad school, and I'll be playing for Sacred Heart again. So hopefully we can get another championship.
That is fantastic. That is great news for Sacred Heart. Well, I'm excited to see what you do next year, and the best of luck to you. Back to you, Dom.
Great, thanks Jack, and congratulations on your season, Jordan. Stay with us till the end of the program. We're going to take you behind the scenes to see how Sacred Heart students broadcast those Pioneer football games.
And coming right up, Melanie De Silva takes us on the annual Campus Turkey Drive. We learn more about a new fraternity on campus, and we'll hear how Sacred Heart is participating in the conversation about sexual misconduct. Stay with us.
actually a few weeks ago created a sensory clinic, and that was a lot of fun. So we did a lot of swinging, a lot of slides, and we had that open space that we needed.
We have fantastic new facilities in the Center for Healthcare Education. We have simulation mannequins that are dedicated solely for the purpose of the AT program, where our students will be able to gain simulation experience when they can't receive it in a hands-on clinical setting. And so we're able to present our students with numerous and rare and unusual cases to better educate them and prepare them for their careers as athletic trainers.
The new building is one of my favorite places on campus, simply for the fact that I can finally start to get hands-on with my major and actually feel like I'm a nurse instead of just a student. I get to practice on the real-life mannequins and just do lots of things that I wouldn't be able to if I wasn't in the building.
Welcome back. On November 20th, Sacred Heart's annual turkey drive was in full swing, exceeding their goal by several thousands of dollars to purchase 700 turkeys to give to local families in the Bridgeport community.
She's like, yep. When people think of Thanksgiving, they tend to think of eating until their pants burst. But for some families, having a Thanksgiving meal is financially just not possible. According to Feeding America, each year, more than 40 million Americans struggle with hunger in the United States, including more than 12 million children. During the past few months, Sacred Heart students have been fundraising and gathering food to give back to those in the Bridgeport community who need a little extra help feeding their families this Thanksgiving.
In the past, we've been able to feed over 4,760 families. This year our goal is to hit 700 families again, so that requires $12,000, so we've been doing a lot of fundraisers and stuff, table times, as well to be able to raise that money for the families.
The turkeys purchased are split for distribution. 400 turkeys go to St. Charles Parish, and the remaining 300 go to Blessed Sacrament's Roman Catholic Church.
So we normally do 400 to St. Charles, and then the rest of the 300 to Blessed Sacrament. So at St. Charles with the 400, we're able to actually hand the turkeys to the family members. And campus ministry as well on campus raises food pantry items, so we're able to give them a bag of food pantry items and a turkey. And we see them, they're very grateful. We get to talk to them as well, which is a really unique experience the day of.
Student government, student life, campus ministry, Chartwells, athletics, and marketing and communications were among those who turned out for the turkey distribution. 3 times the amount of canned goods donated this year than last were collected, and student government exceeded its goal for turkeys by several thousands of dollars. The contributions helped provide turkeys and food for over 500 people at St. Charles Parish. Although they did not get to see the families receiving turkeys at Blessed Sacraments, by dropping off all of those turkeys, they helped feed more people there as well.
It's worthwhile to see us helping local community. As part of Sacred Heart, we're part of the Fairfield Bridgeport community, and just being able to reach out, show that we actually care. We like where we live. We want to take care of the surroundings. We're not just a bunch of delinquents running around campus, so it's nice to reach out and give back to them.
It is easy to forget people in your community struggle with finding their next meal. Yet, in the rain and cold November temperatures, Sacred Heart students and volunteers braced the weather to make this year's turkey drive successful and keep the tradition of giving forward going.
I think it's really important to know that this is like 15 minutes away from campus and how special that opportunity is to help the community as much as possible, especially around the holiday season.
While Thanksgiving is a time to be thankful, it's also a time to help those who need it most. There's nothing better than giving back to your community during the holidays and seeing the smiles on their faces. For The Pulse, Melanie DeSilva, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Alpha Tau Omega is the newest fraternity to establish a colony at Sacred Heart. Known simply as ATO, the fraternity began recruiting their founding fathers only a short while ago, having their formal colonization ceremony just last week. Stephanie Doheny has more.
Alpha Tau Omega is the newest fraternity at Sacred Heart University. Starting only a few weeks ago, ATO began recruiting founding fathers.
My name's Scott Miller, and I'm currently one of the founding fathers here at Sacred Heart University for the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity.
Hi, my name is Connor Sivacek. I'm a senior, and I'm a founding father of Alpha Tau Omega.
Hi, I'm Kevin Gelati. I'm a junior here at Sacred Heart, and I'm the founding father at ATO.
Hi, my name is Rob McMullen. I'm a junior at Sacred Heart University, and I'm the founding father of Alpha Tau Omega on Sacred Heart University campus.
So, to me, being a founding father means that I actually get to start something fantastic here on campus. I was never really involved in anything else on campus, and when I started to join ATO and get to understand the values and the people that were in Alpha Tau Omega, it kind of made me happy to, I guess, connect with more people and at the same time try to start something that can do something really good here on campus.
Known as America's Leadership Development Fraternity, ATO was invited to organize a colony on campus specifically because of their focus on leadership and core values.
I think it being just different, like as a leadership fraternity, not like a regular fraternity where it's more of a, like, hey, let's hang out on a Saturday and that's it. It's more like you're actually going to be able to do, you know, leadership things, like be able to build your skills with your brothers, your friends and family, and just that aspect of the fraternity is why I really wanted to join.
Priding itself on being fraternity men, ATO is already having a huge impact on the campus community.
So I'm going to use this metaphor that I coined. It's so Alpha Tau Omega on campus, it's like an umbrella. So an umbrella starts very close, it's right there at the center of Sacred Heart. But once you open that umbrella, it branches outwards, and so now you have, you're touching everyone around the community, not just in Sacred Heart. You're touching outside of Sacred Heart. You could potentially touch nationally, and I think that the difference that I want to make is I want to start outwards and bring us in, because if we start connecting with communities, and what do people in the surrounding areas need? Bridgeport, Stamford, Norwalk, not just Fairfield and Trumbull. Working our way inwards and seeing, what do they need? How can we help them? And then bringing it back to Sacred Heart. And it's like a cycle, it's open and close, and every time we open it, we can do something new and something, more. I want to put action to our words. I don't want to just say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I want to actually do it.
23 men have already taken the pledge. ATO, strong and quickly growing, hopes to have a lasting impact on Sacred Heart University's campus. For The Pulse, Stephanie Doheny, Fairfield, Connecticut.
It is described as a night full of hope, of education, and of solidarity. This past month, Sacred Heart sponsored its first ever Take Back the Night event to educate students about sexual assault. Victoria Mescal reports.
On Monday, November 12, 2018, Sacred Heart University hosted its first ever Take Back the Night event. Take Back the Night is a gathering designed to bring awareness to and spark action around sexual misconduct on college campuses.
Take Back the Night is an international event and a nonprofit organization with the mission of ending sexual, relationship, and domestic violence in all forms.
If someone asked me what Take Back the Night was, I'd probably have to say it's a night full of hope. And it's a night where it can spark anything. So it can spark someone to tell their own story. It can spark someone to stand in solidarity with someone else, and it can even spark a healing journey.
The event included survivors' stories, a craft of solidarity, a march around campus, and concluded with a candlelit vigil.
We are the fight, take back the night. Wherever we were, wherever we go, yes means yes and no means no.
Hundreds of events are held over 30 countries annually. Events often include marches, rallies, and vigils intended as a protest and a direct action and against rape and other forms of violence.
This Take Back the Night event was sponsored through the Action, Awareness, and Acceptance Committee in the Office of Residential Life and brought together students from every part of the SHU community.
I'll start it. Shatter the silence, stop the violence.
Every survivor is different, and everyone has a different story that they need to tell. And so we can't fit the survivor into the mold, so why should we fit a night that's surrounded by survivors in a mold as well?
The university community was very supportive of the event, specifically with regard to the athletic department.
We found out that the first basketball game, the men's basketball game, was on the same exact night at the same exact time, start time. So Coach Latina actually reached out to Dean Wilk, and he was like, I want to be part of it. He moved his game back, he called the other team, he made sure that that was all set. We moved our time forward so we weren't conflicting. The basketball team's wearing teal shoelaces and they're wearing their shirts. He actually came to the event and he stayed and he listened, and his assistant coach came as well. I'm thrilled with how it turned out, and I really hope it's not the first, I really hope it's not the last Take Back the Night event. I hope that it continues to go annually and someone sees that it was a powerful moment and says, yeah, this happens to happen every year.
With the Pulse, this is.
Coming up, we take a dip in the pool with Sacred Heart Swim Team, and I'll take us behind the scenes of Sacred Heart's latest musical. Stay with us.
This year at Sacred Heart, you have 262 days from move-in to graduation. How will you use them?
How will you serve?
Where will you explore?
How will you lead?
How will you connect?
How will you express yourself?
How will you show your spirit?
What will you make?
You have 262 days. Make them count.
Make them count.
Make them count.
Make them count.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome back. On November 10th, Sacred Heart's swimming and diving team held a special meet to honor and promote a former swimmer's mission. Olivia Middleman has more.
As November rolls around, most are watching the last few leaves change colors and preparing for a Thanksgiving feast. But for one Sacred Heart student-athlete, November is about much more than stuffing and turkey.
Surgery and suffer from seizures every day or even multiple times a day.
Brianna Cello spent most of her life preparing to be on the Sacred Heart women's swimming team. But this year, Brianna will not be swimming competitively. She was diagnosed in August with epilepsy.
So it's important to mention that I had been out the night before. I was pretty dehydrated that morning. I was exhausted. I didn't have a great night of sleep, but I didn't have any suspicion that anything was going to happen. Finally, my roommate and I finally decided that we were going to go to the dining hall. On my way out of my dorm room, my legs gave out. We were in the elevator on the way up to the dining hall. The same thing happened. And when we got up there, I literally said to my roommate, I'm really thirsty, and grabbed a water. And that's all I remember.
I received a phone call from her mom, told me that she seized and she fainted in Linda's. I just hung up the phone and ran over to Linda's.
So he called me within, I would say, 15, 20 minutes, and he said that she was with the paramedics, she was being taken to St. Vincent, and that the paramedics believed it was a seizure.
Shortly after being diagnosed, Brianna realized there wasn't enough knowledge on the disease.
I knew that seizures and epilepsy were related. Honestly, I don't like saying this, but I really didn't know the difference. I didn't know how to react, if someone was having one. I didn't understand really what it was because there is not enough awareness. I look back and I get kind of annoyed with myself because I feel like I should have known, but people don't talk about it.
November is Epilepsy Awareness Month. In an effort to raise awareness on campus, the swim team held an epilepsy awareness meet.
It was spearheaded by Bree, definitely backed by the entire team, backed by us.
Brianna's goal was to educate swimmers and their parents about what epilepsy is, the warning signs, and the steps to take when someone is having a seizure.
The type of seizures I had were called tonic-clonic seizures. They're more commonly known, I think, as grand mal seizures. Another type is an absence seizure, which is characterized by someone zoning out. And then there's myoclonic seizures or myoclonic jerks.
According to the Epilepsy Foundation, common warning signs of a seizure include out-of-body experiences, muscle twitches, headaches, and confusion.
Somebody who's having a seizure, a tonic-clonic seizure, falls on their stomach, it could be fatal. So they're on their side, cushion their heads because their heads are going to be moving, their whole body's going to be moving. Then it's like back up until the paramedics get there. Just time it. When they start convulsing until when they stop, it's really important. The doctors need that information. And then after that, the person's going to be extremely disoriented. They're going to wake up. They're not going to understand what happened. The most important thing is to be calm.
The Epilepsy Foundation also said that epilepsy is not rare and can affect anyone. In fact, 1 in 26 people have been diagnosed with epilepsy, and 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime. As a result of her seizures, Brianna no longer competitively swims.
I put so much of my life trying to be good at swimming.
It took away the thing that she loved the most.
It was mind-boggling to me that the thing that came so naturally to me was no longer safe.
Though epilepsy took Brianna's first love away from her, it gave her a new purpose.
I'm not doing this for me. I'm lucky. The best thing that I can do is try to make sure that other people get it.
For The Pulse, this is Olivia Middleman in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Sacred Heart's Theater Arts program brought the musical Reefer Madness to life in the Little Theater this past month. The story follows the life of a young boy named Jimmy Harper who becomes consumed with bad influences, and the highlight of the show, Reefer Madness. The cast and crew of Reefer Madness had just 1 month to put together a show that they hoped would stun audiences. From full-day rehearsals to the calling of places, a few of the cast members explained just what it takes to get a full production up and running.
I played Mary Lane in Reefer Madness, who's an all-American girl who you're rooting for the whole time, and she's taken over by this drug menace, the reefer that they call it, the entire time. So you're just kind of following her journey and her boyfriend Jimmy.
Jimmy is kind of your all-American boy. He goes to church on the weekends, he gets great grades, he plays baseball, apple pie, the whole 9 yards. Very fun to be that campy and just kind of a dork.
Learning musical numbers and rerunning scenes were just a few of the preparation steps the actors took before opening night.
Rehearsals, like everything is run here so professionally, and it was such a great experience to do these all-day rehearsals where you're going in for vocals for hours and you go eat and you come back and you're blocking until you're done. I loved that it was so fast-paced and jam-packed, and it was a really great cast also to be around all the time.
My favorite part is definitely music, because we practiced it for so long with Leo in the music room, and just kind of fun hanging out. But then we add the band to it, the Sitz Pro, which is always my favorite part of any show that I'm involved in, because it's just kind of that click moment where you're like, yes, everything's coming together.
Over the course of 8 shows, the actors explain how they feel they grew from every performance.
From opening night to closing night, it was a completely different show. It grew so much, and like finding a parody style is hard, especially if you've never done it. And I think that it grew so much. And all the shows, I don't think we ever had like one really bad show. You might feel personally, like I definitely felt there were some nights where maybe it wasn't my best show, but I don't think that anything I put out there for any of the 8 shows was bad. I was proud of every show that I did, and especially with the cast. Like, it's a marathon, and we all did 8 really fabulous shows for very different audiences, which you definitely play off of.
I would say opening night, we definitely had a feel of what the production was, but I think by the end, Tori and I in particular, our scenes got a lot better. We found the groove, the line between honesty and satire, where you want to play it honest, but you can't necessarily play a death or something serious. They still have to be funny. So it's a very tricky kind of combination, but I think we really got a handle on it as the weeks went by.
Reefer Madness has come to an end, but there's more to look forward to from the theater arts program next semester.
I came off of Reefer Madness with so much energy and at such a high that it has just motivated me to like stay in that mode where it was just go, go, go all the time, and I'm ready. And there's auditions this Friday, so I'm auditioning for that stuff, and then next semester there's a ton of opportunities, and I just am ready to grab whatever I can.
I'm very excited for Hair. That is a powerful, powerful story to tell, and I think Jerry and our people are very good at 2 things: rock belting and telling a very emotional story. So this is directly up our alley. I'm so excited to see what they do with it.
If you would like to learn more about the Theater Arts program and how to audition for upcoming shows, check out the Theater Arts program website or stop by the Theater Arts program office located on main campus. For The Pulse, Marissa Taché, Fairfield, Connecticut.
So I know you had a role in Reefer Madness. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was so great. I mean, it was definitely a long journey. We had really long rehearsals, but it was an awesome experience, and we're really happy with how it turned out. So
that's great.
I'm excited.
On Saturday, November 10th, Sacred Heart joined the Hindu community in celebrating Diwali, the Festival of Lights. Grandma Dwyer attended the celebration to find out just what the Festival of Lights is all about.
During the fall season, Hindus across the northern hemisphere celebrate Diwali, the Festival of Lights. This popular Hindu holiday symbolizes the spiritual victory of light over darkness. Sacred Heart students Met Chaudhry and Head of Mystery talked about the many performances from throughout the night.
For the performances, well, depend on each and everybody. There are a couple of groups, they've been doing this dance since a while, but there were a couple of extempo performances as well. And those are really nice, the extempo ones.
I thought that let's go for a dance. I did not prepare much, but yeah, it was like on the spot performance. I was nervous a bit, but people were like very great with the encouragement part. So I'm really glad to perform there. It was really fun. I literally enjoyed it. Thank you.
Diwali is a 5-day celebration. On the 3rd day, the key rituals of the Diwali festival take place, including lighting of the diyas and candles all around the house, and worshipping the Lakshmi Ganesha to summon health and wealth. As part of the Office of Global Affairs initiative to push International Education Week on campus, the Sacred Heart community joined in on the celebration.
Well, basically, I like how people get together, and basically the Diwali is about that, to get together and do fun and everything, yeah.
This means a lot because the Western culture is coming towards Indian culture, and they're celebrating our festival with so much of happiness, joy, enthusiasm, and this feels like really great. I feel really good to be here. That's amazing.
For The Pulse, Graham O'Dwyer, Fairfield, Connecticut.
That's what I love about Sacred Heart. There's just so many opportunities to get involved in different cultures, and they bring it right to campus, so it's really awesome for students.
Yeah, I actually went to Ireland 2 weeks in the summer, and it was just experiencing a whole new culture. It was just absolutely phenomenal.
Oh,
I loved it.
That's awesome.
Coming up, we have some powerful women in business, and take a look at one of the best student-run broadcast teams New England has to offer. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The gender gap at the top of big business has been a fact of life for many years. All too often, women hit a glass ceiling in fields dominated by men. But times are changing, and Sacred Heart invited 4 local women leading the charge to show how much women are capable in accomplishing business. With more on the discussion panel, here's Drew Thompson.
Not all women are the same, and not all men are the same, and not everybody's meant to be a leader. But, you know, I learned early on that, you know, we are, for the most part, we're not that comfortable saying, can I have this? And I'd like to make this much money.
The business field is often thought to be saturated by men. However, more and more women are entering into the competitive business field and are establishing dominance as they enter the workforce. Gianna DeAngelis, who is one of the members of Sacred Heart University's event planning team, organized a Women in Business event to showcase some of these powerful women. DeAngelis explains the reasoning behind the event.
I came up with the idea for this event because I saw a need for women in business through my own experiences at the College of Business. You can see that in most of our classes, although a lot of them are 50-50 with women and men, there are classes where I'll get where I'm one of the only females.
The dynamic women featured on the panel are CEO of Subway, Suzanne Greco, CEO of Bigelow Tea, Cindy Bigelow, along with President of Talk Travel, Jennifer Tombo, and Chief of Staff of Barnum Financial Group, Elizabeth Hiza. One of the women on the panel, Jennifer Tombo, wants students and the public to understand that women can be just as successful as men when it comes to leading a business.
Well, first of all, I hope we get to a point where we're talking less about gender overall and we're just talking about leaders. And I loved what Cindy Bigelow said in particular about coming into an organization and seeing yourself as a leader and not as a woman leader or, in the case of a man, as a male leader, but as just simply a leader, someone who can bring value to an organization.
The director of Welch Business Student Experience, Victoria Rosa Garcia, is motivated by the panel's career success as she is on a similar career path.
When I am hearing these other women, these female entrepreneurs and CEOs, it's just a very personal event because I see myself as an entrepreneur as well.
In Fairfield, Drew Thompson and Dominic Daniele reporting for The Pulse.
Wow, that's a great story. I heard you were producing most of it.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was basically just a bunch of CEOs and entrepreneurs who were women and kind of just showcased how they got to this point. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how women are, you know, taking the step forward and trying to bridge that gap even more.
Of course. For most colleges around the nation, Saturdays in autumn mean one thing: college football. Here on campus, the football game broadcasts are presented by our very own students from our School of Communications, Media, and the Arts. Here's Danielle Veroni with more on the live events production program.
The stadium is quiet now, but in just a few hours it'll be buzzing as the Pioneer football team takes the field. All morning, the students of the live events production class have been running cables and setting up cameras in preparation of the big game. And although Saturdays are game day and require seamless effort from the students, the real work begins on Friday.
So the live event production class is basically getting the students hands-on experience so they can wrap cable, operate cameras, set up cameras, work a TriCaster, work in the control room, break everything down, and have the experience before they finish school. And then when they leave school, they have that ability to know what to expect and to contribute right away.
Each year we added more equipment, became more ambitious, and our goal was to do the games to be the equal of what ESPN was doing on the one game a year that they were doing. And I can say at this stage of the game, because NEC has told us this, we are doing the games equally well as ESPN is.
With 5 home football games a year, the students are responsible for producing 4 of them for credit. The 5th game is produced by ESPN3.
To me, it's a lot more exciting when you do it with the students. Sometimes the longer you've been working in the industry, it just kind of becomes just another day in TV. But every event that we do here is an adventure.
It doesn't matter if it's students, professors, teachers, people from ESPN Radio. Everybody's coming together to make it a professional production. That's not a student thing, that's a good communications thing, and that's great for our business.
The football production taking place now is a far cry from the original football production from 5 years ago, formerly known as Big Red Sports.
Big Red Sports was an idea 5 years ago that I, as a graduate student in MACOM, the Masters of Communication program, kind of came to the powers that be, Dr. Castengay, Professor Alec Castro, and of course Keith, who does so much behind the scenes, with an idea that Sacred Heart football through the athletics department was streaming on NEC Front Row, which was a relatively new venue for all NEC sports at that time. And I felt that, with what I wanted to study and the experience, I was hoping to get along with my classmates who also were looking for experience in live production, that with the support of the media studies department, the communications and media studies professors, that with enhanced equipment and a full production team, we could put forth a really quality product for NEC Front Row, and everybody really supported it. What's fun about sports is you could plan and prep and come up with the best script possible, and then the unimaginable happens out of nowhere. And if you're on your game and you're focused, luckily our team was that day. We were able to capture one of the craziest plays, the craziest play I've ever seen in all my years of watching football.
Wide to the left, 3rd and 5. Noel throws, complete to Moses Webb over the middle, and then he lost the ball. It's a live ball, and it's recovered by Monmouth. Dropped and picked up by Osukula, and then he lost the ball, and the Pioneers recover, and it's justice for Moses Webb, who dropped it, fumbled, recovered, and scores with less than a minute to go. Touchdown, Sacred Heart.
The Moses Webb double fumble recovery has gained over 2.3 million views on YouTube and is arguably what put Sacred Heart on the map for student-based football productions. Having taken part in this program for 2 years, I have gained an appreciation for what it takes to make a broadcast successful, and I can't stress how much of an advantage this course is for students going forward in sports media. For The Pulse, I'm Danielle Veroni in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Well, that's all we have for this show. Good luck on finals, Sacred Heart, and study hard. And for our director who is graduating this semester, Danny Elia, make us proud. For The Pulse, I'm Marissa Taché.
And I'm Dom Daniele. Thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful winter break, Sacred Heart.